Thank you so much, Madam President. My name is Ephraim Kosaifi with Arab News Daily. Madam President, I know that as the PGA now you have checked your national identity at the door and you are now representing the whole world. But just to clear the air, I'm sure you're well aware of the controversy that your comment on the status of civilian infrastructures in Gaza, which was interpreted as carte blanche for those infrastructures to be bombed when you said they would lose their protected status under international law if there are terrorists around. And that was conceived to mean that you are encouraging the strikes on civilian infrastructure from schools, from UNRWA facilities, hospitals, and all of that. When you were asked about that, you said you were misquoted. Can you please set the record straight? What did you mean by that comment? Do you retract it? Do you distance yourself from it? Just so we clear the air before moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I've been asked that many times, but I would like to repeat it again. It is crystal clear that international humanitarian law calls for the protection of civilians and civilian infrastructure. They must be protected always. And I've been also crystal clear on that one in the past, in the speeches, but I'm here again, that civilians must not be targeted. Full stop. And then you asked about why I said, please look at the correct speeches, because this is a moment, I mean, with social media, yeah? If you say we have only 20 seconds, so we cut off the beginning of a sentence or we cut off the ends, it totally changes the course.
Und ja, deswegen haben wir als Bundesregierung, haben wir als Parlament, als Demokratinnen und Demokraten so deutlich gemacht, das Selbstverteidigungsrecht Israels, das ist auch unsere Verantwortung. Dazu stehen wir nicht nur in Worten, sondern auch in Taten. Und zwar jeden Tag. Und genauso deutlich haben wir gemacht, und das ist eben kein Widerspruch, sondern es ist eine Ergänzung im Einklang des humanitären Völkerrechts. Das humanitäre Völkerrecht und das Existenzrecht Israels, sie gehören auf das Engste zusammen. Und dafür steht die deutsche Staatsräson. Und daher haben wir immer wieder so deutlich benannt, die Selbstverteidigung bedeutet natürlich, dass man Terroristen nicht nur angreift, sondern zerstört. Deswegen habe ich so klar und deutlich gemacht, wenn Hamas-Terroristen sich hinter Menschen, hinter Schulen verschanzen, dann bekommen wir in ganz schwierige Themenbereiche rein, aber wir ducken uns davor nicht weg. Deswegen habe ich vor den Vereinten Nationen deutlich gemacht, dann können auch zivile Orte ihren Schutzstatus verlieren, weil Terroristen das missbrauchen. Dazu steht Deutschland, und das bedeutet für uns Sicherheit Israels.
And therefore, thank you for asking this question again. But what I've said is exactly this. International humanitarian law calls for the protection of civilian and civilian infrastructure. And I said also before and after that international law also calls that civilian cannot be misused, that also the misuse of civilian sites for military purposes is not allowed in international law. And I think this is very well also reflected in the current declaration of New York with regard to the peaceful settlement. And this is the work I've done the last 2 years, and I will continue to do based on our United Nations Charter. Because if you look at the declaration of New York on the two-state solution, it's saying exactly that we are not all looking on one side only, but we need an immediate ceasefire for humanitarian access. We need an immediate ceasefire for releasing the hostages. It calls on the stop of the war in Gaza, on the Israeli side to stop that war. It calls on Hamas to lay down its weapons, that Hamas cannot rule it. And this full picture that peace can be only delivered if it's peace for all was something I was standing for in the past, is something I'm standing for right now. At the moment, I will stand for in the future, because this is exactly what our United Nations Charter obliges us to do. A life is a life. No matter where a person has been born, every life matters the same.
So just to be clear, nothing justifies, as the international law says, nothing at all justifies any attack on any civilian infrastructure, no matter what warfare is taking place during in that place, right?
Well, and this is not an international public law lecture here, but we have treaties on that one, exactly, and on that one, and maybe next time we bring it all together here. So in international humanitarian law, we have the Geneva Convention. It is very clear that civilians always have to be protected. It's very clear that the misuse of civilian places for military means is also a breach of international law. And all this together, in a nutshell, was what I have been saying in the past. But it's all this together, which we always have in mind, and no cherry picking on these kind of issues.
Wenn Hamas-Terroristen sich hinter Menschen, hinter Schulen verschanzen, dann bekommen wir in ganz schwierige Themenbereiche rein, aber wir ducken uns davor nicht weg. Deswegen habe ich vor den Vereinten Nationen deutlich gemacht, dann können auch zivile Orte ihren Schutzstatus verlieren, weil Terroristen das missbrauchen. Dazu steht Deutschland und das bedeutet für uns Sicherheit Israels.